Tesla is an interesting spot. One problem Tesla's having right now is just the ATR is a little bit inside the cam, so which is why it's not calling it. But this range is so wide that this one might still be okay. I kind of like how our ATR low, or sorry, that's our sessional low, not our ATR low. Well, never mind, we have our ATR low. So this one's going to be interesting because there's enough ATR if we sell off of S4 for a breakdown or a rally off of S4. So despite it not being called by the system, and that's just because the ATR has come inside. So it'll be really interesting to see how all this opens here.
Reasonable size target on ES at 14.
ES is doing its best to find a bottom here off of this S4 area. Well, it's S4 on Ninja. I like how we kind of found this session low right here off of S3. But we might need to sell down. S4 on ES, our ATR low for the day is just a little bit under S4. That's near 5770. Would be kind of our projected session low. Let me make sure my order book is working, because TOS doesn't save settings no matter how many times you save them. Order book is fairly balanced right now, with one large order to the downside, which happens to be at 5800, which is where we more or less bounced from already. So that'll be kind of the level to watch. If we crack 5800, we'll probably draw down to 5770 or somewhere down there. And then we can look for a bounce. If we start to rally from here, there may be no sell. If we rally from here, we're low enough, I think. We're in the buying range now on the month. So we're below S3. So we're officially in not that we can't go to S4, but I'm just saying we're now officially in a buying range. So if we start rallying from here, I wouldn't expect a reversal to occur. So we'll probably start by sweeping liquidity lows.
Hey Thor, check out the mentoring chat. This is something I noticed over the weekend.
On my way.
It's gonna grab you by the face as soon as you see it. I'm gonna post it for NQ as well.
Alrighty.
Morning, Lauren.
Hey Mark, how are you?
I'm good. Waking
Is
up.
it cold up there?
Yeah, it's not great. Just rainy. It's
Yeah,
windy
you
up
know
here.
the one time I used to have a girlfriend and her parents were on Mercer Island, so I've been up to Seattle. The times when I visited up there, it was nice, and they all tell me like this isn't normal for Seattle. It's normally kind of cold and rainy.
Not unlike the UK, right?
Yeah. You see that, Thor?
Coming in the mint. Oh, my bad. I was looking at the wrong.
Here's the NQ.
Wait, what am I looking at? Entering chat.
Danger zone.
I don't know.
I'd wait for it to take out these equal lows on the daily. Seems like that's what we're drawing towards. Oh wait. You know what? I'm sorry.
There's nothing
I
in the
sent it to
mentoring chat.
McCarthy instead of the mentoring chat. Sorry about that.
I was just about to say I'm not really sure where you put them, but okay, here we go.
There it is.
There it is.
I'm going to put the ES in there too. Grabs you by the face, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. There's that 5,800 buyer. See that we're buying right below that 5,800 order that's just sitting there.
There's so much liquidity. Let's see where that actually is. It's probably about 57.85 ish. When you see these equal lows on the daily, that's those become huge targets. So, and I don't know if you know, but a lot of the equities have been hit overnight really hard.
Mm.
And
There
oil,
was a big I forget who it was. There was a big fund that completely divested themselves from Tesla.
same with so 57.96.
Not political.
57.94.50. 57.94.50 is the price to watch on ES.
I mean, it's a lower range. So, I mean, the thought of bouncing from 57, like that 50, 5,800 to 5780.
Yeah.
Like I said, ATR low on ES would be like 5765. So if we start to sell, I could see us going all the way there.
Yeah.
If we're gonna rally, we really kind of need to rally from somewhere right in this area.
If it wants to rally, it's going to have to sweep liquidity on the sell side. It has to grab that. And so basically, what that's going to do is that's going to completely wipe out all of the drive up since the election.
Yep.
You see that, right?
Oh yeah.
So, so I was starting to post this last Thursday and Friday. I'm like, warning signs. This is looking really sketchy here.
Well, there's a reason why Mark and I have both been short on ES futures for a while.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it like you say, Thor, too. It's a distributory pattern. You got the big red down, step up, big red down.
Yeah, I'm still holding my couple contracts I took, and then I got profit, and then I took a couple. I took two more at 60-20.
Ooh.
Right at R3, right monthly R3. I mean, I did it there was the day that had the inverted hammer, the 6th. On the 7th, when we squeezed up and then came back through R3, I hit the 2 contracts short. I think it was only risking like $100, I think, and I put it all the way above high of day. And I said, if we rally out and break high of day, I won't swing this. I said, but if we break low of day, I'll hold it. And then we ended up closing red as F that day. Like, it was perfect.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is great. And I've just been holding ever since. It's been like a week now. So I think today could be the day I take it off, but we'll see. I think if it makes a new high above yesterday's high, so if we get buck above S3 like 58.60, 58.70, I think I'll take the 2 contracts off, and I think it'll be like $1,200 or something like that.
Nice.
Nice. I mean, it's only 2 contracts, risking like $100 or something, and to make like $1,200 on it on a swing is fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Imagine if that was 2 full size, it'd be like $12K.
Yeah.
So, and I'm practicing swing trading, which is, a skill set that I do not have and I'm not very comfortable with. So I really do not enjoy holding overnight.
Welcome to my world.
Right. My problem is I need my money.
We all do.
Yeah, that equal lows. If it goes down, sweeps through. I mean, it would have. I mean, it could go all the way to S4 though if we go lower than this. You know what I'm saying, Lauren?
It is a lower range month, right?
Right. Yeah, go all the way to S4, which would allow it to sweep all those equal lows you're talking about. Which isn't that what they like to do? Set them up, knock them out, rally.
Yeah.
Right. They could come down there, sweep into that, put a lot of pressure on it. Oh, the market's horrible. It's the end of the thing. I think the 50 or whatever. What's that moving average you got coming in there too? Is that
200.
100 or 200 or
200.
something? 200. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got your big average coming in there too. Those could meet up right there. The buy the dippers could come in. It would be good. It's doable. So no assumptions today. If this thing starts turning into a bloodbath, let it bleed. It can.
Exactly.
It's still got room to the downside before it even hits a noticeably large support area, which is that equal lows. If you're not dialed in, check out the Lauren posted in the mentoring chat 2 screenshots. I'll pop up the ES one just to kind of talk about that just briefly. So what he's talking about for everyone who's not
I put
aware.
a newer one in there because my volume was messed up on the old ES chart.
I think I grabbed it.
Okay, good.
So you can see right here. So where the biggest thing to always keep in mind is where the ceiling becomes the floor, right? This is always one of the easiest way to look at stock charts. You know what I mean? Whenever you're seeing lots of wicks that are all hitting not just a similar price, but the exact same price, which is that equal lows, and this is just there's nothing but an order here that's buying. Right, so there's a large buyer. They're coming down and hitting this buyer, and it was identified with what is an isolated pivot, basically right here. On a larger, if you maybe a weekly pivot, right? Yep. Weekly pivot there, and then an isolated pivot right here. Right, so the buyer themselves is actually probably at 5,800. Right, which is why we're overshooting ever so slightly, and then coming off of it. Well, now we already know. The buyer's at 5,800 because look at my friggin' thing.
Hey Lauren, did you write equal lows in there, or did your software do that for you?
No, I wrote it.
Okay.
Lauren programmed it. No, I'm kidding. It's Lauren and I are not doing that fancy stuff. We have other fancy people to help us. No, I'm kidding. No. So anyway, so you can see that big order right on the book already. So that's the order in play, right? So they've hit it. Now we know how they like to do, right? And then generically, they're gonna hit it again, and then they're gonna sweep it, and then rally. You know what I mean? So this is what we got to be paying attention to is the volume. Like this volume down on this candle was pretty good volume.
Yeah.
I mean that's a strong move. Sorry, that's this day. Yep. Right? So that's really strong move. That was definitely engulfing with good volume. No reason to think we're going to bounce off of that. But if we make a high above that, we could. Because we do have this guy here. We could have came down and be trying to sweep that. But I mean, this just seems like such an obvious spot for them to go screw around. If it does sweep that and then comes up and makes another one of those, it would be a really nice long signal. But you can kind of see this very obvious area of importance here. So now if we start to rally from here, I mean, you have to think that we're now in the buying range. So keep that in mind as you're taking trades. Today could be a short today, and shorts in a buying range suck. Right? Because you're going to run into buyers. Right? That's what's created this range. So this is you get what's you're in an accumulation or a buying range because you start getting a stair step down, elevator up, right? Stair step down, elevator up, right? So when you're shorting in a buying range, you have to really be convicted with your positions because you're going to get pulled back against all the time as the buyers buy. You know what I mean? Even if it does end up going lower overall, right? It's still just kind of a big pain in the butt because you're always getting squeezed in these areas. So even though it might be a short, it may be better to let this thing get down into these lower ranges and then see if we can, if it's, for instance, if we start selling hard at the open, if it gets down to around this 5,800 and sweeps it, that could be one heck of a rally. So we'll have to keep an eye on, see what the book does. Right now, we are buying a little bit more than we've been selling as of the past, maybe 10 minutes or so. But our order book still remains relatively balanced with one obvious large order at 5,800. And that is your morning ES news report.
The forecast.
And on to you, Christoph.
Our forecast.
It's very cold, yeah. I always want to know, like, this is an old, like, I think it's a Ron White, like, joke or whatever, but it's always been true for me. Like, who is the person whose job it is to tell you, like, what the temperature feels like? And, like, how is that metric achieved? Because I was actually, I was watching the morning reports this morning, and they're like, well, thank goodness, it's actually still cold in Jacksonville today with it being around 43 degrees this morning. But since the difference in weather, it actually only feels like 43 degrees, where yesterday it was 40 degrees, but it felt like it was 32 or something like that. And I'm like, who determines this and how? You don't even wear the same jacket I wear.
In Chicago,
It was Bill Engvall. It's a Bill Engvall joke. Sorry, I just remembered. Because right after that, he goes, it's a smoker. They're like, who's going to go out and see how cold it feels outside? I'll do it. I got to smoke anyway.
Oh, yeah. That's funny. In Chicago, they'd say stuff like, it's -10 today, but with wind chill, it feels like -72. I'd be like, what?
But what is what metric is the feels like metric? That's the thing. That's like what confuses me. Like, how do we come across this feels like metric? Like, you know what I mean? I'll have to look it up. I'm sure there actually is a meteorologist like index for like what feels like is. Once I figure that out, we'll also figure out why TOS doesn't properly save settings, no matter how hard you try. See, look at that 5800 order. Doesn't that just look obvious?
It does.
I love it when they look obvious. The only thing that's a little weird is they've actually one of the things I'm always looking for is continuity, right? You have a big order, but do they have a way, like a ladder, to get to it? They've actually kind of lightened the downside book a little bit and brought some more orders into the top side.
Yeah, it looks like they're cheering to the top side, right?
So the shorter term, the market maker is doing all of this, right? These are all market maker orders. Sometimes we get confused and we start thinking that the small orders are us and the big orders are them. No, not true. They're all them. You can tell that because look at the line, right? Like that's right. That's not us, So, but the market maker will tier orders generically, shorter term orders in the direction of the longer term order they want to go to. So if you start seeing them taking orders away from a larger order, sometimes this can mean they're preparing to basically abandon that order or leave it held, as the term would be, right? So you'll hear held bid or held ask, right? So in this instance, they could leave this bid held and not satisfy it. Right now, look at the selling hitting, and look, they've tiered some more orders back in. Look, they tiered off the top side.
Oh yeah.
So now it looks like they're going to run 5800, or at least they showed some more intention to do it, at least in that moment. And then you have to remember you have multiple market makers that are competing against each other in their own best interests. So sometimes you'll see a movement towards, and then you just see it get squeezed right up, and that's because market maker ran into market maker. That was something I've learned, by the way. Last time I was in New York, I asked one of my buddies, as a market maker, do you manipulate other market makers? The smile I got reminded me of the movie The Joker. like when you smile that came when I asked him that question, and the smile that came across, because he works for Citadel. So which generates more market volume than any other, probably. I mean, there's maybe one or two other market makers that if they combined their forces, they could put up against it. Citadel maybe. And I would still say Citadel probably has the stronger algo, because that's a lot of the things people don't understand. Citadel's so good not just because of their bankroll, but because they have the algo. Their algo is very good. It's a quant. I saw the computers they're running that thing in. Let's just say it reminds you of something you would see in NASA, but modern. You ever go to Kennedy, Lauren, and go to down and watch the rocket launches and stuff?
I have not, but I've been to the NASA headquarters in I think it was Mountain View, California.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
You know how there's it's like they have the old like reel to reel. They look like refrigerators, and there's like 5 or 6 refrigerators just lined up
Yeah.
next to them, and those are all like reel to reel. It's kind of actually looks a lot like that, but they're just big blade servers, and they're just a whole like room just lined with them, and they're all just humming away. I'm like, ooh, smells like money in here. The software program running on that thing is a multi-million-dollar quant. You know what I mean? It's so cool. Some crazy person like a Gazoo wrote it. Some guy that just hacked the market, drinking too much coffee.
Drew's dad lives in Merritt Island by Space Coast. He gets to watch the rocket launches all the time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That last time I visited you, Lauren, the second to last day, I woke up in the middle of the night, or I was falling asleep. It was midnight, and the house just started shaking, and it was one of the. It wasn't the Falcon. It was a Falcon. It wasn't a Falcon Heavy, but
I was gonna say that
cool
I bet the Heavy shakes it.
Oh my god! Yeah, I haven't been down there for that one, but my dad said that one really.
I've went to a Heavy launch. And it was. Cool. There was a moment during the Heavy launch, and we were on the other side of the water, over like by the Cape area over there, where all the boats always park out. So we drive the Jeep, and we just drive it right up into the sand right there, and then we pull around backwards, throw the gate down, and I have like a little blow up mattress that we put out in the back.
So cool.
And we just sit
by
there.
Where that long dock is, everybody fishes off of.
No, it's on like like where the ports are.
Yeah,
it's kind of like on the port side, like as you're coming into the port.
Oh, where the restaurants are.
Yeah. Like in between the restaurants and the ports.
Yeah.
And there's like a little like sandbar-y like little area right there, and we'll roll right down in there with the 4-wheel drive and just park backwards and then just sit there and watch. And then we have this app called, I was trying to find it on my phone real quick. It's called Next Space Flight. Is literally the app, and if you pull it up, it has all of Cape's rocket schedule for like the next like year. So you can go in and you can pull and you can set alerts, and it'll actually send you a notification and alert you when certain rockets, and you can actually specify which rocket you want to see. So if you want to watch Heavy launches, you can and it'll let you know like a couple weeks before a Heavy launch is scheduled.
Wow, so cool.
Yeah, it's fun. So if you ever have an opportunity, Lauren, definitely get down there and watch one of those rockets, especially if it's one of the ones where they're launching something that comes back. It's always really fun to watch them. Like I had a buddy of mine that was there for watching the one where they caught the part that came down with the big chopsticks. Yeah. You're like, that's pretty freaking cool.
Wait, you said you saw that when they caught?
I didn't. My buddy saw it. My buddy was there.
Okay.
I wasn't there. I just
That'd be
saw
something to see.
That'd be amazing.
He's like, dude, if it drops it, it's gonna be the biggest explosion you've ever seen. I'm there. I'm like, so true, so true. Just go for the bloopers. I like it. It's like watching figure skating. Nobody cares how pretty it is. We just want to see if he drops. You know what I'm saying? Just sorry. I just want to see if they bail the triple sow cow or whatever. All right, so we're gonna be opening here in just a minute. Good luck, people. Not a lot that's like opening like super close to the range that I'm in. Nvidia is in an interesting spot, but its order book is a lot of weight to the downside. And I think it's in the wrong range. So, we got some volume coming in on the ES into the open. lot of volume coming into NVIDIA right here. Wow. NVIDIA getting a ton of volume. We have a lot of volume coming into our into tech right now. Like NVIDIA's whipping all over the place. AMD's whipping all over the place. Like
They're jigging.
Does that spread on AMD look unusually high or no? Is it just me?
it's 10 cents. It's between 5 and 10 cents depending on what part of the book you're in, which is a little wide for AMD, especially at $114 ticker, $114 price. I like how it yoinked right up to R3 at the open and then ran right into an order, and the ATR high happened to only be like, yeah, I mean, it was $1 over it, but still pretty close. I mean, it would have had to have really done it's very unlikely it would have went into a breakout that close to AMD, that close to its ATR. All right. Looks like we got a little bit more bid coming into AMD on the downside too. Let's see what happens. We got the open price right here. It's back testing.
Are you already in AMD or not yet?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got an AMD at 117.
Nice.
I'm hoping it doesn't rally here, but the ES is trying to rally right now. But I like AMD. Let me show you my entry right there. it squeezed at the open right into R3, stalled right at R3. And then so as it was holding there, I just hit short and I threw it up above 117.50, which is a little unfortunate. If I had put my stop right above 117.25, which I almost did, I'd be at a target already. But it's okay. I really like this position. The order book is bearish. I've got a little bit too much buying, but I think I'm okay. So I am going into S3 now, which is a little problematic. That's one issue with this position is, I have to get through S3 in order to get to my target. So we can't get too nervous if we find a buyer or bounce here because it will probably defend a little bit here. But the order book looks much better in my direction. Good bid, good shorter term, longer term. What did I say? Whatchamacallit? Consistency. Not a lot of orders to the top side.